Hi everybody, in this video I'll try to teach you factoring second degree trinomials with the leading term 1. So it means the number before x squared should be 1. So how many x squared are there right now? There's only one of them, so there is an invisible one and we don't need to write it always. Let's clean that back. So to get this kind of expression with the second degree trinomial, I need to multiply two binomials, so both of them must have the value x, and when I multiply x and x, it will give me the number, the variable x squared. I also have there plus bx and plus c. To make them, I need to add or subtract some other numbers. Now I'll make this to get the formula. Because of that, let's write it generally like m and n. X times x will be x squared, x times n will be plus nx, m times x will be mx. Let's make it better. M times n is the last one, will be m times n. So x and x are the like terms. I can combine the like terms. Let's write the others again, x squared. So n plus m should be in here. If I write it orderly, I'll write that m plus n. Then m times n is the last one. Now, if we compare this with the first one, the given expression, see that in this result, instead of b, I have m plus n. Instead of c, I have m times n. Now, I'll make a formula from here. I'll make a rule from here. By using this idea, I'll tell that when you see this kind of expressions, you look for the constant number, c. So, if you can find two numbers which their product makes c and their sum makes b, you can factorize this expression as x plus m times x plus n. So let's write this as a rule. As you can see in here, x squared plus bx plus c. In these kind of expressions, we check the number c. Product of which numbers makes c. We check all the possibilities. From those possibilities, we choose the one which their sum makes b. If we can find such that numbers, we can factorize this expression as x plus m times x plus n. Now I'll keep the formula in this part to remember or to remind to you. So there are several examples about this. I prepared for you 4 different examples, also 1 extra. So we can use this rule for different types of questions. There are 4 different types. The things which I can change: sign of second and third term. In this example, both of them are plus. In this one, second minus third is plus. Now let's go to the next page. In this one, second is plus, third is minus, and in the last one, both of them minus. So the idea about this, they have similar kind of ideas. Third and fourth example, the constant terms, the constant numbers, they are negative. So for these ones, we have a way of thinking, and in the first and second examples, the constant number is positive. If the constant number is positive, the numbers which I'm gonna choose, both of them must be with the same sign. Plus 1 times plus 6 makes plus 6. Minus 1 times minus 6 makes also plus 6. 2 times 3 or minus 2 and minus 3. So when I add the negatives, the result will be negative. So the second term is positive. That's why I can cancel them directly. Or I don't need to write them at all. If I look for the positive ones, 1 plus 6 makes 7. 2 plus 3 makes 5. So 2 and 3 are the numbers for this example. I can factorize this expression as 2 and 3 are the numbers, x plus 2 times x plus 3. Now let's look for the second. In the second, I change the sign of second term. I made it minus. So when I look for my possibilities, or the possibilities to get 8, 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. So the second term is minus. When I add them, I need to get them negative things. So I will make both of them minus. I will not look for the positive ones, because when I add the positives, the result will be positive. Minus 8 minus 1, these two makes minus 9. So I need minus 6. Minus 2 and minus 4. When we multiply them, we have plus 8. When we add them, minus 2 and minus 4. When you add them, you will have minus 6. So minus 2 and minus 4 are the numbers to factorize this expression. X minus 2 times x minus 4 is the factorization of this expression. Let's go to the next page. In these two examples, the constant term is negative. So when I choose the numbers, I need to make one of them positive, the other negative. I need to make their different signs. For example, for the question number 3, example 3, to get 10, I can use 1 and 10. Also, I can use 2 and 5. 1 times 10 makes 10, 2 times 5 makes 10. So to make it minus 10, 1 or 10, one of them should be minus. To get minus 10, 2 or 5, one of them must be negative or minus. So the second term is plus, the second term is positive. So I need to choose the bigger one positive, because when I take the difference, I will put the bigger number sign. So I don't need to look for if the bigger one negative, because minus 5 and minus 2 will give me minus 3. Minus 10 and 1 will give me minus 9. So I don't need to look for these two choices or these two possibilities. Now 10 minus 1 makes 9. I don't use this one also. 5 minus 2 makes 3. So the numbers are plus 5 and minus 2. Plus 5 times minus 2 makes minus 10. Plus 5 and minus 2, when you make them together, it makes plus 3. So I can factorize this expression as x minus 2 times x plus 5. Now let's see the next one. Now here is the number is 12. The number is 12. So to get 12, which numbers can we use? Which numbers? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. In this one, I will make it directly. Now this part is the guessing part. Okay. Then when we find the true numbers, or when we write the correct when we find the correct numbers, we can factorize it. So the midterm is a negative one. So I need to choose the bigger one as negative, because I need negative results. When I add them, I will take difference of them and I will put bigger numbers sign. I will use bigger numbers sign. So the result must be negative. So how many x are there? Minus, how many x are there? Minus 1x. So the result must be minus 1 when I add or subtract that. So minus 12 plus 1 gives me minus 11. Minus 6 plus 2 gives me minus 4. Minus 4 and minus 3 gives me minus 1. 3, which is plus, and minus 4. Let's show that this is a multiplication. So 3 and minus 4 are the numbers to factorize this expression. 3 is a positive number, so I can use plus for it, and minus 4. X plus 3 and x minus 4. There is one more way to ask these kind of questions, but actually it is a similar thing with these ones. So if the leading term is a negative one, if it has a negative 1, for these kind of cases, firstly we take negative 1 parentheses. So Negative 1 times what makes minus x squared? X squared. Negative 1 times what makes minus 4 x? It should be plus 4. Negative 1 times plus 4 will be minus 4x if we make it inverse, or if we make it back. Negative 1 times what makes plus 12? Minus 12. So we take negative 1 factor out, then the expression which we have inside the parentheses is the one which we can factorize. So the constant one is negative, so the numbers will be different signed. So we will take difference of the numbers, and difference of the numbers should be positive. Look at to the second term. So I must make the bigger one positives, smaller ones negative. 1 and 12, smaller should be negative, pardon. Let's make it back. Bigger must be positive. Minus 2 and 6, minus 3 and 4. I know that the result should be positive. 12 minus 1, 11. 6 minus 2, 4. It's good. 4 minus 3 is 1. I don't need. So 6 and minus 2 are the numbers. 6 minus 2 makes 4. So if I factorize this expression, I need to keep minus 1 there as a product. So minus 2 and 6 are the numbers. X minus 2 times x. 6 is a positive number, so I can use plus for that. You also can multiply minus 1 with the first or with the second. You can do that to make it simpler. But this is also enough because we factorized this expression. We found the factorization. All the things are in terms of product. Thank you for listening. I hope that you can understand by listening this video.